Our guest on the show this morning is Adeyemi Anifowose. He is a mathematician and he would be talking about games for mental development. What are those games that can aid self-development, mental development, your mental capacity? And that is what we will be discussing this morning. Good morning, Adeyemi, and you are welcome to Tea or Coffee this morning.
Why did you choose this field?
Okay, mathematics to me, it happens to be my second choice of course then, because I intend to go for computer science and I picked mathematics as the second choice. And unknown to me, I got to the department to fall in love with mathematics. And I see that mathematics of everything is what we're having today. Mathematics is something you can always relate with. So when people actually tell me often at times, I hate mathematics is tough, and I would just look and say, wow, subject for the lazy ones like me.
Really?
Definitely.
Why would you say that though?
Because with mathematics, I can always tell you categorically that most of the time I start preparing for my exams maybe a week before the exams. So because once you know the principles of what you are doing in mathematics, then you are good to go. They will just change the figures, change some variables, and they will give you back the same questions. So you don't have to cram, you don't have to read and and it is something you can always relate with on a daily basis.
Okay.
We do mathematics everywhere. You calculate the time you'll be coming to work.
Sure.
You calculate your salary. You calculate how you spend it and all of this. So this is something you can relate with. It's not abstract. It's not, I don't know, but I just feel like it's something that you do every day. Mathematics is something you do every day. So it's not hard.
Today we are talking about games for mental development. A lot of times people have had to sit down and wonder, how can I keep myself? How can I engage myself? How can I engage my brain? How can I engage my mental capacity to be sure that at intervals it is running? I am not just sitting idle. So I want to know how exactly can game or what kind of games are right for your mental capacity and your mental development?
Okay. Most games are actually developed in order to help man to learn unconsciously.
All right.
It is developed most of the time out of passion, out of need. And okay, let me give back just brief about the chess game for an instance. Chess was then used as a tool, like a weapon for war then. When you have to strategize, how can you conquer a certain nation? How can you attack and, strategize and all of that. So games is to me, I believe is a way to learn unconsciously for most people, though it's something that a lot of people are not paying attention to. And look at the world we are today. Technology is taking space over everything. So we are now in a world where people no longer pay for certificate, but they pay for creativity. They pay for what you can do, what can you deliver. Your certificate doesn't matter anymore, whether you have PhD, you have first class. If you cannot do anything, if you can't offer me anything, then I can't offer you anything.
Yes.
That is what they are paying for now. So the world is gradually shifting from, you have this mindset, just like gone are those days when we used to have this mindset that, you go to school, you read a particular subject, and you come out of the school and, you get a job for that subject. It's no longer like that. That's why you can find someone who do Yoruba Edu working in a bank.
True.
As a matter of fact, the current CEO of First Bank right now studies something far away from banking.
Yeah, sure.
So what are we trying to say? The world is looking for people who have this creative mind, and there's no school of thought anywhere you can actually learn that from, except from these games. I'm just trying to, don't use the word the games.
All right.
It is inbuilt. It's something you have to discover on your own.
Okay.
No teacher will teach you how to be creative.
Yes.
Nobody can teach you how to be creative. Okay, so before I continue this conversation, I would like to ask briefly, do you have any games you play at home? Maybe Ludo, whatever. Do you have any?
I'm not a games person.
I try to play with words, see how I think that in a way can help your vocabulary development.
Yes.
So I try to play games that has to do with you putting words together, Scrabble. And all of that.
Okay.
I'm not a games person.
Oh, right. Okay, so the reason why I ask is you realize that most of these games, at times, nobody will teach you, this is how you have to combine these words.
You have to sit down to think.
And you have to think. So most of the times, at times, just because you want to have a win in this game, you go the extra mile to check your dictionary, which on a normal day, you won't pick that for anything.
Yes.
So unconsciously, you are doing it for the winning, indirectly you are learning. And that is something that is very hard for us to do in our own generation. Have a student sit down for hours learning like a lot of words is something bogus
Something
for
very
them.
hard. Okay, let me ask you something. So while going through your profile, I saw that you're into developing games to make learning fun for students in school. Now, I'd like to know, how did you go into that in the first place? Like, how did that come to you?
It all started far back as 2015. That was after my youth service.
All right.
And I was just at home with a friend of mine. We are both the co-founder of the program.
All right.
We were like, okay, there's this particular puzzle. It's online then. That's Rubik's Cube. The first time I saw that puzzle, I was in year 3.
Ah, Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
So I was in year 3. So it was one of my classmates, my coursemates then, sorry, that went for a competition at Abuja that brought the games back home, and none of us was able to solve it, even down to the lecturers.
We all tried. We were not able to solve it.
I
We tried.
battled it for days in my hostel. I couldn't get a clue. So this colleague of mine, Benga, and the guy was like, we attend the same secondary school then,
All right.
and we also finished from the same university, though he studied geology, so he was a year ahead of me. Good. And the guy was like, far back in secondary school then, he used to be the best mathematics student. So he lost something that challenged him most of the time. He saw the puzzle online and he was like, he's going to get one for himself. I said, oh, I will be interested in it as well, because the first time I saw it, I couldn't solve it and all of that.
Okay.
And this guy got the puzzle and he was like, wow, he tried it for days.
He
get
couldn't.
it. And just a week after that, he got the solution and he was like, wow. I was like, this is a problem. And, you know, there's this joy of satisfaction that comes with it. That, wow, he was able to get the solutions. And this puzzle is not just about getting the solution. With time, you have to develop, like, your mind automatically develop, like, okay, how can you get this puzzle solved in a faster period of time? Like,
Yes.
the faster, the better. So indirectly, it's building up his mental capacity.
Okay.
So we're like, wow. And this is what the world of today needs. There's problems everywhere. They only need people who can get it solved at a very fast period of time, like very short period of time. So what I'm just trying to say is that the world needs something that can work faster and better. That's where creativity comes in. And this is what the games teaches students. And we realize that these things are missing in most schools, especially in Nigeria. Out of passion, we're like, fine, we can actually get a problem solved. But the first thing is like you said, a lot of Nigerians are out there looking for where to work, looking for your white-collar jobs and all of that. But how about you looking for problems to solve? In the problems, life solution, get the solution. Don't think about the money fall. Don't think about, like, as a matter of fact, these programs, we are doing it, like, free.
Nice.
Like, free, totally free.
To teach other people.
Yes,
great.
the competition is free, and you know we've been on it since 2015. More like self-funded. We've gone the extra miles, a lot of places. So the first thing is identifying a need, a problem. We realize that this is a problem. Nigerian has been raising students for the past years. You know, they've been raising students that you cannot compare them with world-class standard in terms of creativity.
Okay.
They only have this certificate. What can they do? What can they deliver? So we're like, fine, we can create this mindset in these students that they can build the world even at a tender age. And that's what the games can actually expose them to.
That's very fantastic. But before I let you run a question by him, I need to know, so what are the sort of games that you teach these students? Because now from your story, you started with Rubik's Cube.
Yes.
When you were you able to solve it though?
Ah, man.
Because I'd like to know, were you able to solve it? It took us how many minutes we kept on trying to
Minutes. You talk about minutes.
I mean, for the first time, I don't think minutes should be your duration.
Minutes
you
should
look
not.
at a whole
I was on
Talk about
days, I
weeks.
picked it, tried. I was like, you know what, I'm tired. I'm not going to do it. And we had children. The youngest of them was around 10 or 7 or so. I can't remember how old Samantha was. And in minutes, we set a little competition for them on the show. And they unscrambled it very quickly.
Yes.
And they were so competitive about it. And it was fantastic. So you started with the Rubik's Cube.
Yes.
Now, I'd like to know what other games it is that you put in place to help your students or people generally for their mental development?
Okay, those other games we put in place are chess, Scrabble, Monopoly.
Okay.
And we are also putting in spelling bee because we realize that these games help students in their academics. Like, take for instance the Scrabble, help them to build their vocabularies. And the Monopoly is going to give them this entrepreneurship mindset. As a student, you can start doing business. It doesn't matter. It just depends on your passion. What are you passionate about? Look at Ligo Dangote, started at a very tender age. And now look at the big merchant he has built. So it's something that we believe that every student has this potential within them.
All right.
So look at the chess, for instance, helps students in strategy thinking. It helps them in their calculative aspect. That's for students who will be sound in mathematics, engineering, and all of that. They can embrace chess. So we believe all of these games indirectly help students to improve their academics because over time we also carried out like a study, like a case study of a student who probably, let me just say, the non-active student in class, like, and we realized that when we introduce this game to the student, over time, the such student embrace the game, and over time now, the student can play the game very well. Not only active in the game, but now active in class.
In class, okay.
All right. Now, for me, you have mentioned that starting from tender age to teach these children and all of that. And we have problem-solving techniques. We have critical thinking, all of this in place when it has to do with games for mental development. Now, what I want to know is how do you think that we can incorporate this issue of using games as active learning for students in class? How can we incorporate this in our educational system such that these children don't get carried away with these games and ignoring the core subjects that they've been sent to school to learn?
Okay, like we said earlier on, it's based on moderation. You moderate the house.
All right.
And incorporating this system into the education is something that we are trying to do at the moment. Most schools, most of all these big schools in Lagos, I won't call them, but most of them have it imbibed in their curriculum already. They have duration for it. They have period whereby, games period, chess period, Monopoly period, and all of that. So it's something that school can help students to manage.
Okay.
And I can tell you that no amount of time you spend on this educational game that is a waste. Though it may actually be one way be addicted, but I can tell you that, find a student who is very, very addicted to Monopoly. Monopoly especially.
Okay, Monopoly.
Give such students money. He won't spend it the way other students spend their whole money.
We should try that out.
Just try it. Just give it a try. Okay. You can just, hey, please come. Just have the 10,000 naira. By the next month, I will request, ask the student again for the 10,000 naira. What have you done with it? So the reasoning and everything change. The world is fast changing, and the way I'm looking at education is actually moving from the traditional way
that we've learned.
I'm telling you, a lot is changing now. Go to China. I heard that in China, even students in secondary school develop most of the calculators and the phones that we use. So what are we doing in Nigeria? We need to cheer up the students. Like,
to challenge them.
You guys can also start doing something, even at tender age. And the world most powerful country now, they are making use of technology. Technology is the power of the world today. Like, find a country that has this technology, then it has the power. So it's something that Nigeria needs to come up and activate this thing within the student.
Now let me do a very quick digression. Now your core subject or your core course is mathematics. You like it or not, in the Nigerian or in a general young person's mind, mathematics is hard. It's something that you don't understand. In fact, there's this fear that is being put. There's something I've learned very recently, that it is not, you are not afraid because you have done it. You're afraid because of what somebody told you about it. It goes like, that subject is very hard. So when you go into a mathematics class, you already have that idea that it is hard. So how do I put this now? How do you advise teachers to make mathematics an easy
subject.
an easy learning thing? Because the way you're speaking about it, I am so interested. I feel like, oh, I should have paid more attention to my mathematics class. Maybe then I would learn some certain things. Because, I mean, I have a lot of friends that are very good in mathematics that I am not, and it makes me feel very bad. So how can we demystify mathematics in classes? Teachers, how can they make it even easier and make it interesting for learning? For instance, literature, everybody say, oh, yes, isn't it picking it a book? It's sweet because the way the teacher brings it to you, you are very excited. Yeah. English language, you know that, okay, you have to read and do some certain things, but it is not as hard or difficult for mathematics. So how can we demystify it and make it very easy for learning?
Okay, then in that case, I will actually say that what they should try to work on is the methodology that they use in teaching mathematics. So they need to work on the methodology, make it more practical. Like, it has to be practical. When you are going to the mathematics classroom, don't go with bogus textbook, but go with practical materials such that, oh, you can relate it with what people can say. Truth is that at a certain point in my life, when I was studying mathematics back in school, there was this course we had in algebra. And I can tell you that none of us like this class because this man will just come and will tell you that, oh, abstract algebra is this and this and this. The man will be relating it to something he himself cannot even lay hold of a particular evidence in it.
What he doesn't understand.
And that is just so crazy. Okay, like I said, mathematics is cheap. Okay, while I was a Redeemer undergraduate, I was in year 3 then when I had to go and present a paper at Redeemer University conference. And there was this call for paper. Everybody, they just posted it at the department. I saw it and I was like, wow, interested in it. And I was like, let me just give it a shot. So I submitted my article, my abstract. And unknown to me, I was invited. I was like, okay, I think I was the 3rd undergraduate student that was there. The rest of the people are just doctors. And I even met one of my lecturers there. So what am I trying to say? Mathematics gives chance to everyone. It is practical. As a matter of fact, I can tell you that they are, like you said earlier on, where people missed it wrong is that if you don't know a particular principle in mathematics, then you don't know it. You just don't know it. You just need to understand the principle, how it works. So it's more like very straightforward there. If mathematics tell you that plus is plus, plus is plus. If it's minus, it is minus. So whatever principle that is guiding what on the subject you are learning in mathematics, it is straightforward. Let them just make it more practical.
Hello there. Did you just enjoy that beautiful video? Don't worry, we have more for you. All you have to do is click on the subscribe button and ring that little bell for more notifications. Tea or coffee will be served for you.
The world needs something that can work faster and better. That's where creativity comes in. And this is what the games teaches students.